So Kamala Harris went on Colbert last night. It was one reject consoling another. It felt like Tim Walz giving himself a pep talk in the ladies' room mirror. It was Kamala's first interview since her brutal election loss. But I wonder, is she there to sell a book?
I talk about it in the book. What I talk about in the book. So this book, I talk about in the book. I hope by writing this book.
Greg Gutfeld set his sights on Stephen Colbert. It wasn't a roast. It was a full-blown comedic takedown. Colbert's smug theatrics and safe punchlines didn't stand a chance against Gutfeld's brutal wit and unfiltered truth. What followed was a savage unraveling of everything fake about late-night comedy. No scripts, no applause signs, just Greg torching the illusion, one joke at a time. If Colbert was the king of smug, Gutfeld just stormed the palace and burned the script on his way out. If you enjoy raw, unapologetic truth with a punch of humor, make sure to subscribe and like the video, because this isn't your average late-night fluff.
Beat all these guys, my show, and we're only in 61 million homes. CBS reaches nearly 300 million Americans. They don't talk about that. He also had 200 staffers. I employ nothing but teenage runaways. And by the way, I don't even pay them. Ha! Anyway, I love how they claimed it's a financial reason, but everything is a financial reason, right? If you open up a restaurant, you serve lousy food, people stop coming, you close it, you don't say because the food sucked. You said, well, it was a financial reason.
Stephen Colbert is what happens when late-night comedy forgets how to be funny and decides to double down on smug. He's the guy who thinks clapping for his own jokes counts as applause. At this point, calling his show comedy is like calling a microwave gourmet. Greg Gutfeld didn't just roast him, he flamethrowed him with the full blast of everything Colbert pretends not to hear. Because when Gutfeld turns up, irony doesn't just walk in, it storms in with fireworks strapped to a clown car. Like the video if you're tired of fake laughs and overhyped monologues. And don't forget to subscribe for real comedy that hits where it hurts.
Take your power away. It's the whole reason you're sitting in that crappy chair and Trump is relieving himself in a toilet made of gold. But the interview is amazing for giving you a glimpse of an alternate universe where misery is redefined as joyful and the winner is still a monster. In the extended interview posted online, Colbert longed for better days before Trump kicked her ass. Because less than a year ago, things were very joyful.
Just less than a year ago, things were very joyful. There was actually a lot of hope associated with your campaign. And there was
Colbert, who built his whole shtick on being the smart guy in the room, but forgot that the smart guy is supposed to be, well, smart. Instead, he throws out political punchlines like expired candy, sticky, tasteless, and nobody asked for them. Greg Gutfeld didn't have to dig deep to find the cracks. The whole Colbert facade is duct taped together with ego, legacy media delusion, and the faint echo of audience laughter that only exists in studio edits. Like the video if you're done with fake funny and overproduced fluff, and don't forget to subscribe for truth-telling comedy that doesn't hold back.
Last night, Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, John Oliver, and Jon Stewart showed their support for Stephen Colbert by appearing on his show. It's the most laughs network TV had since they showed Sophie's Choice with limited commercial interruption. Since Colbert's firing, Jon Stewart told CBS to go F yourself, and Colbert told Trump to go F yourself. Wow, $100 million worth of writers must really have paid off.
The man went from clever satire to being a human teleprompter for the Democratic National Committee. He doesn't even deliver jokes anymore. He delivers press releases with punchlines. And you can always tell when he's trying to be edgy because his eyebrows start working overtime, like they're auditioning for their own spin-off show. Gutfeld just pointed at the whole circus and asked the obvious. How long can someone pretend to be brave while clapping for their own safe takes? Like the video if you're tired of scripted comedy disguised as courage, and don't forget to subscribe for the kind of truth bombs mainstream late night won't touch.
So Joe, I couldn't help but notice Kamala's face when Colbert was talking about how joyful it was. She looked at him like he was insane.
Yeah. He was, by the way, congrats on Fallon. I don't mean to one-up you, but I'm in talks with the people at the Mike Douglas.
Yesterday, New York Governor Kathy Hochul declared a state of emergency in NYC due to severe flooding. Still not sure if it was caused by the rain or this man's tears.
Colbert's idea of rebellion is wearing glasses while nodding at a camera. His entire comedic arsenal consists of irony and over-enunciation. Greg took one look at that self-righteous desk monologue setup and shredded it with the force of someone who actually understands timing, tone, and the revolutionary concept of not trying too hard. Because when Colbert tries to be funny, it feels like a book report performed by a theater kid who just discovered sarcasm. Like the video if you've had enough of overacted comedy routines. And don't forget to subscribe for sharp wit that doesn't need a teleprompter to land.
Reason, right? If you open up a restaurant, you serve lousy food, people stop coming, you close it, you don't say because the food sucked. You said, well, it was a financial reason. But they didn't just they didn't cancel his show. They canceled the whole show.
Yeah.
This was a quote institution, and they said rather than put somebody in his place,
The real joke is that Colbert keeps acting like he's pushing boundaries, except the only boundary he's ever pushed is the one between yawn and cringe. He's like a Hallmark card with a thesaurus. Greg didn't just destroy his act, he exposed it. There's nothing dangerous about a guy who spends 10 minutes trying to turn a Senate hearing into a stand-up routine that even his own writing team can't stay awake through. Remember when late night used to have edge? Now it has Stephen Colbert performing a nightly interpretive dance of moral superiority. Every punchline is dipped in NPR voiceover energy and delivered like he's teaching a TED Talk about his own cleverness. And when Greg Gutfeld took that apart, he didn't need props, just facts and a functioning sense of humor. Colbert is that rare breed of performer who manages to both oversell and underdeliver. Every joke is a lecture with a smirk. Not the good kind of smirk, but the kind that says he just Googled the term he's about to explain like it's breaking news. Gutfeld didn't just roast him, he peeled back the recycled satire to reveal a man desperately trying to cosplay relevance with a side of studio laughter. Like the video if you're done with performative punchlines. And don't forget to subscribe for comedy that actually earns the laughs.
But they never get that the free market means exactly that. Free to fire someone who's stinking up a market. Like they took a dump in the produce section. That show, his show, was like the dope who maxes out his credit card because he thinks the stripper really likes him. Ooh, you got 2 jokes for the price of 1. But that's not fascism, that's math. But for the left, math is what happens to other.
And speaking of that studio audience, it's not so much an audience as it is a human laugh track trained to respond to smugness like Pavlov's dog with a sociology degree. Greg could have filled Colbert's seats with bobbleheads and gotten more authentic reactions. But hey, when your show feels like a safe space for people afraid of genuine comedy, authenticity isn't exactly on the call sheet. Colbert's version of political commentary is like reading a Twitter thread aloud and calling it insight. There's a reason Greg Gutfeld's name is rising while Colbert's gets muttered in Starbucks lines by people trying to remember who still watches cable. Gutfeld's takedown wasn't just about jokes, it was about revealing how fake the whole act had become. Greg didn't go after Colbert like a rival, he went after him like a guy pointing at a mannequin in a comedy shop window and asking why it's still priced like it's new, because Colbert's whole bit is built on nostalgia for a time when being anti-something counted as a personality. But the only thing he's truly anti these days is tone. Like the video if you're done with the fake applause and empty takes. And don't forget to subscribe for comedy that doesn't play it safe.
Predictable outrage ensued with demands that Colbert be fired. 2 days later, he responded.
If you saw my monologue on Monday, you know that I was a little upset with Donald Trump for insulting a friend of mine. So, at the end of that monologue, I had a few choice insults for the president in return. I don't regret that. So while I would do it again, I would change a few words that were cruder than they needed to be.
So he didn't regret the joke, only the language. Again, I don't care. It's jokes.
Colbert loves to pretend he's the moral compass of late night, but the needle's been spinning for years. One day he's mocking politicians, the next he's inviting them on for a friendly chat over an oat milk latte. Greg Gutfeld walked into that glittery hypocritical mess and kicked the legs out from under the pedestal. The truth isn't hard to find when someone's entire act is a spotlight on their own echo chamber. What's especially hilarious is that Colbert thinks he's the rebel in the room while parroting every safe status quo opinion available on LinkedIn. Gutfeld dismantled that laugh like it was a car with 4 flat tires. No need for tools, just a flashlight and basic observation. Because when you rely on your own laughter to cue the audience, you stopped being a comedian and started being your own laugh reel. Greg didn't just expose the holes in Colbert's game, he revealed the blueprint. Every episode is a mad lib of predictable jabs, faux outrage, and audience validation disguised as comedy. It's like watching someone play Jenga with truth, but glue the blocks together with virtue signaling. The tower's still standing, but nobody's having fun. Like the video if you're tired of late night echo chambers. And don't forget to subscribe for sharp, unfiltered comedy that doesn't fake the laughs.
Listen, I think that my show exists is because of the arrogance and the ego and the assumptions that the liberals have who turned comedy sideways. You know, people find my show entertaining because I'm saying things that they're thinking that they thought they couldn't say because everybody else has made it so suffocating. I also have, like, I take issue with the biggest lie you're seeing here, which is that, you know, Colbert or Kimmel were somehow risk takers. They've had very long, rewarding, lucrative careers doing exactly what was expected from them. Just so happens the audience found an alternate.
Colbert presents himself as the guy who's in on the joke, but the joke passed him 5 years ago in a Prius filled with real comedians. Greg's roast wasn't just about torching a rival, it was about liberating late night from the tyranny of tepid snark disguised as wisdom. Because when Colbert gets serious, it's never deep. It's just louder, slower, and delivered with more camera cuts. And that set, my God, that set looks like what happens when a political science major designs a game show. Greg doesn't need neon and mahogany panels to deliver a punch. Colbert's stage is a soft place for people who want to be told they're smart without having to laugh too hard. But when Gutfeld walks in, there's no safe zone. There's just the joke, the truth, and a whole lot of ash left from whatever Colbert was trying to pass off as commentary. Greg Gutfeld doesn't punch down. He punches through the fluff, through the sanctimony, and right into the weak underbelly of late night fraudulence. Colbert, once the golden child of political parody, has turned into the grown man who uses cue cards to express feelings. Gutfeld just asked the obvious. How did we get here? And why is everyone pretending the Emperor's monologue is hilarious? Like the video if you're ready for a real shakeup in comedy. And don't forget to subscribe for the kind of fire late night used to bring before it got lost in applause breaks and virtue signals.
I mean, imagine being a chef, you know? You're such a bad chef that they cancel food. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I guess he's less popular than Shingles, but you get this, it's so obvious. You can't do a comedy show and a sermon at the same time. Your job is to say something funny, not being the show that says, that's not funny, about all the things that are just too grim to talk about. I'm old enough to remember when they used to say, the TV critics used to say that the right can't be funny. Well, guess what? You know what kills your funny bone?
Colbert's fans claim he's clever, but clever's just a consolation prize when funny packed its bags. In 2017, Greg took the polite applause and flipped it into a standing ovation by reminding everyone what late-night comedy used to be. Unfiltered, unafraid, and actually entertaining. This wasn't just a roast, it was a takedown of an entire genre wrapped in a smirk and hiding behind studio lights. Colbert's persona is so carefully curated, it might as well be on display at a Smithsonian exhibit called The Death of Spontaneity. Greg brought the defibrillator and a chainsaw for good measure. And don't mistake Colbert's refusal to change as consistency. It's stagnation with a script. Colbert's show has become a buffet of safe sarcasm and microwaved outrage. Gutfeld didn't just eat, he brought the receipts, the reviews, and the complaint box. And when he was done, he didn't just leave. He turned the lights on and showed the whole audience the empty kitchen behind the scenes. It's one thing to lose your edge. It's another to market your dullness as sophistication. Stephen Colbert has become the artisanal tofu of comedy, carefully shaped, mildly flavored, and completely incapable of satisfying anyone who actually remembers what steak tastes like. Gutfeld came in with a butcher's cleaver and a reminder that comedy's not supposed to make you yawn with pride. Like the video if you're hungry for the real thing, and don't forget to subscribe for unapologetic comedy that cuts deep and actually delivers.
But are we on the precipice of entering a censorship state?
We are on the precipice of entering a censorship state in which Donald Trump is using the powers of the federal government in order to erase criticism from the airwaves. Stephen Colbert didn't get thrown off the air because he wasn't doing well.
Why's he doing that on the toilet?
Just like that, the curtain didn't fall. It caught fire. The smirk faded, the monologue stuttered, and Greg Gutfeld stood in the rubble smirking. Not because he wrote a better punchline, but because he remembered that you don't need a team of writers and 1,000 nods to the camera to be funny. Because as long as Stephen Colbert keeps serving reheated satire with a garnish of ego, Colbert's biggest punchline now is his own career arc. A man who went from paradigm pundit to becoming the exact stereotype he used to mock, only less charming and more insufferable. And just when you think he's hit the bottom of the creative well, he breaks out a Broadway number about bureaucracy and expects a standing ovation. Meanwhile, Greg Gutfeld is out here doing laps around him with one eyebrow raised and no cue cards in sight. Colbert's fall isn't tragic, it's textbook. The louder he screams into the void, the clearer it becomes. He's not battling injustice, he's auditioning for relevance. Gutfeld exposed the show for what it's become. A moral puppet theater where the puppeteer forgot how to entertain when the lights dim. Colbert's echo fades into background noise, while Gutfeld's punchline keeps echoing louder than any forced applause could ever drown. And if this is the comedy war, Colbert's out of ammo. Greg's just getting warmed up. So if you're still here for comedy that actually hits, like the video and don't forget to subscribe for more sharp takes and fearless laughs.